Previously on Bleach. Aw yeah, it's time for me, the main character, Ichigo Kurosaki, to take the center stage. I got my new Zanpakutos, first major battle, we're doing this. Bring it on, Askin! Oh, okay, we can do that. Before we fight, though, I thought I should give you this gift. Oh man, I love gifts! Let me see it! Ah, man, even I think my power's kind of OP sometimes. Hey everybody, Tekking101 here to review Bleach chapter number 656, titled God of Thunder. So I guess the long-awaited return of Stern Ritter T, the Thunderbolt, Candace Catnap. Yeah, we were looking forward to that, yeah, really. Alright, well, chapter begins with Gerald Valkyrie stomping around after his defeat of Shinji and Momo and Rukia and Renji and Byakuya, and maybe the death of them, I don't know, because we don't see any of them this chapter. This is pretty much the only scene where we see Gerald actually just kind of stomping around, going off to some other location, because the rest of the chapter is focusing on Askin. Oh, thank the great god Kubo, it's a Christmas miracle! It's an Askin chapter! Woo, yes! Oh, praise the D! Oh, praise the D! Alright, so it's looking like next week's chapter is probably going to be the last one before the Christmas break, and I'm really hoping that's an Askin chapter too, because I can think of no better way than to cap off the year than with this sexy motherfucker right here. I mean, you might say he looks similar to Aizen, you know, with the hair strand and everything, but no, Askin is infinitely more cooler than Aizen. I mean, he might not be as strong as him, but he's more cooler, alright? Anyway, continuing onward. He's just kind of watching as Gerald's just stomping around, stating that Lilia was the one that got killed as well. He doesn't mention Pernida, so I don't know, that thing's still out there. I mean, Pernida was the whole left arm of the Soul King. I don't think it's as simple as just, you know, it's dead now and we're never going to hear from it, never coming back again. But he did notice that Lilia did fail and got defeated. He also brings up that it's not very likely that Gerald even knows of Lilia's defeat, as, you know, he's just like, that big oaf is just stomping around, you know, Lilia has been defeated. And then he realizes that he probably should tell Ichigo about what's going on with the Shoot stuff, and we find out that Ichigo, well, is sort of, kissing the ground a bit there. Yeah, he's gone, which, I mean, a lot of people were disappointed in that. Like, really? We can't even get a decent fight with Ichigo? But if you just look at Askin's power, it's so OP, it doesn't really matter how strong the opponent is, because unless the opponent knows it's coming and can sort of dodge it or whatever, they're gonna get caught in it. Same thing with Grimmjow. Grimmjow is probably strong enough to take on Askin. Maybe. We'll get into that. But if he doesn't know about Askin's power, and it's the kind of thing that could just fuck you over in an instant, you're gonna get screwed over by it. I would be more pissed off if Ichigo was still in the fight right now, because this is totally what I expected to happen. Well, anyway, Askin's just kind of sitting there and not really, you know, finishing off Ichigo, like delivering the killing blow or anything like that. Later on in the chapter, we'll find out exactly why that is. He doesn't really approve of killing his enemies that way. But, yeah, he comes to the realization that he should probably tell Ichigo about what's going on with everything. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Ichigo, but each Sternritter is given a script by His Majesty corresponding to a letter of the alphabet. Normally, this script brings out a unique power that each Quincy had dormant inside of them. I'm sure you've encountered quite a few Quincy up to this point that have used odd techniques on you. Oh, yeah, like that lightning girl I fought. Oh yeah, that was probably Candace. What, did you kill her? I'm not really sure. I knocked her into a building a few times. Oh, well, good for you. She was a bitch. Really lame power, too. Who the fuck uses lightning? That is just way too cliché. Anyway, that whole script thing only really applies to the regular Sternritter. The Schutzstaffen, which I'm part of, is a little different. There's 4 of us in total now. Lilia was our leader, and he was the first ever to be given a script by His Majesty. Herard, the huge giant over there, and Pernida, that hooded guy you saw earlier, were never given a script by Yhwach to awaken their powers. They were already awakened to begin with. Some even say it's because that Pernida is really the Soul King's left arm, and that Herard is really the Soul King's heart.
The fuck if I know anything about that, though. I mean, seriously, whoever thinks that Pernida is a giant hand is just really lacking creativity. Okay then, well then, why are you a member of the Shoot Staffen, huh? What makes you so special? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. That's because I am...
There you go, we're here to save you now! So, Chad and Orihime, we don't really know what happened to Ganju. He might have just kind of wandered off. Maybe he fell off the side of the wall. Well, whatever. Fuck! Anyway, yeah, they rush in to go save Ichigo. Brazo, Derecha, del Gigante! Oh, holy shit, guys! Do you realize what just happened? Yes! Finally! That was the first time Chad did anything this entire arc. Like, the closest thing was when he was fighting against Kurhei, sort of. I mean, he had his arms out like he was about to do some shit, but then Kurhei just blasted him full of holes. That was the last thing that happened. I mean, at least Orihime, she healed Yoruichi, and she used her Santen Keshun as like a glider sort of deal. They at least did, she at least did something. Chad, for the most part, was just kind of standing around. I mean, there was that one time where he was kind of knocking Ichigo back to his senses about Ryu, but I don't really count that. That's not really doing much. Anyway, yeah, Chad is on the plan. He's on this shit. It's gonna be Chad versus Askin, and going back to what I just said, he's gonna be fucked because he has no idea what Askin's power is. Oh, hey, look, he got fucked over because he has no idea what Askin's power is. So, this ability is a little bit different from the other ones that we've seen Askin do, where he was manipulating Nemaya's blood, and with Grimmjow, he used that gift ball sort of thing. This ability opens up a big, it looks like a shadowy space around Chad, like a circular area that surrounds Askin, as well as Ichigo, Chad, and Orihime, and this is also the ability that affected Ichigo and why he got knocked out. Chad and Orihime are immediately forced to their knees, and it looks like they're becoming massively sick. They begin to sweat bullets, just like, Grimmjow and everyone else does that's affected by her power. Orihime looks like she's about to freaking hurl. And Askin walks up to them, kind of, not really walks, just sort of saunters, just like, yeah, I know I'm awesome. Anyway, that ability is called Gift of Bad. By the way, gift is a German for poison. I didn't bring that up last time when he used it against Grimmjow, but yeah, it's gift. Gift is German for poison. Stepping into this poisonous pool won't necessarily kill you, mind you, but I can lower your body's resistance to any substance I choose when you enter it. In this case, the substance I've chosen is reishi. In essence, you're all being poisoned by reishi. Wait a second, did you say we're being poisoned by reishi? Yes, I just said that. Shit, Orihime! I think his ability has something to do with poisoning us. Yeah, alright, I'm just gonna stop talking to you now. Anyway, whatever substance I want your resistance to be lowered, I have to have a lot of in my system. For example, if it wanted to be blood, I'd have to drink a lot of blood. Since I have all these cafe au lattes in my stomach right now, it's kind of upset, so I'm gonna wait until that settles down, but for right now, I'll just deal with reishi. Alright, so we get a little bit of insight into Askin's power, and you know what? This is the one time that I can kind of give it a free pass when he explains his power. It's not like other people that are just explaining it at the beginning of the fight or while their opponent is still walking around. Askin has had this power for a while. He kind of knows what it is, and he probably understands that after you get afflicted by it, you're fucked. You can't move. I mean, Nemaya was like the one exception, but even that I kind of call bullshit on how Nemaya was able to avoid being killed by his poison ability. But yeah, I can kind of understand why Askin can kind of just go off on a rant explaining his power, because all of his enemies are just knocked out cold. Well, anyway, his power basically works like you have to have a certain substance in his body. Now, the weird thing is, I guess it has to be his stomach specifically, because he used the example for blood when he was affecting Nemaya. And he had to have blood in his system in order to change the lethal dosage of blood in Nemaya's system. But you already have blood in your system. You have the blood in your veins. So I guess it has to be particularly in your stomach. Like, he has to eat it or drink it. And since he chose not to drink anything because he had a bunch of freaking lattes in his stomach, I guess reishi works as well because his body already has reishi in it. Equally to any other thing. So I guess it just has to be in his stomach. But yeah. And the reason why I find it weird that Nemaya was able to avoid it is because Askin lowered the lethal dosage of blood in Nemaya's body. And Nemaya got around this by like, okay, I'm just going to cut my neck and I'll bleed out and then that'll reduce blood. However, the problem there was the less blood you have in your body, you run the risk of dying of blood loss, but the more blood you have in it runs the risk of dying from the lethal dosage. And Nemaya's way of getting around this was using Korinji's ability to squeeze out the blood and put the blood back in, but you still have blood in your system. So that's what I don't get. Like, why? I mean, what's the big woo-ha here? Nimaya still has blood in his system, even after Korinji did his old blood pond hell thing. So I don't get why the lethal dosage just stopped working there, but in other situations, he pretty much owns. Anyway, Askin's about to... I really don't know what he's about to do. I would say he's about to go delivering the killing blow, but from what we're going to learn in a second, that's not really something he likes to do, so I guess he was just going to keep going off on a monologue. But he gets distracted when Yoruichi appears behind him. Wow, it appears that if your opponents aren't able to move, wouldn't it be simpler just to, you know, strangle them while you can? So Askin retaliates and tries to kick Yoruichi, who avoids it quite easily, being Yoruichi. And Askin basically says, like, that's not my thing. I just don't go up to people and just wring their necks when they're unconscious or they can't move. You know, that's something that's more suited to you and Bambi of the like. Anyway, Yoruichi lands outside the poison pool. Also, I guess you actually have to be standing in the poison pool for it to work because Yoruichi was inside the perimeter. She just wasn't touching the ground. So I guess that's why she wasn't affected. So she lands outside it, and Yoruichi she's just kind of like, oh, I don't really do that delicacy thing. Or you really think your opponents are that far beneath you that you can't even resort to doing the, you know, the wringing their necks sort of deal? Not really. I just like defeating my opponents with a certain amount of elegance. That whole controlling lethal dosages has such cachet. Wringing people's necks is just so cliche. Yeah, I mean, really, I mean, I understand where Askin's coming from. I mean, as far as unique powers go, I gotta give Kubo, you know, a clap there, because Askin's ability is pretty damn unique. It might be a little bit OP, and it's funny because even Askin thinks it's a little bit OP. I love that. Even when he was explaining the whole thing, it's like he's aware of himself. He's kind of like meta in a sense, because even when he was explaining to Ichigo, like, you know, these are the Quincy's that are apparently parts of the Soul King, and he's like, I don't even know where these rumors started, and I don't even know how they can be parts of the Soul King because they're Quincy. That is something that I should be saying. That's why I didn't say it. I don't even need to. Askin's the one that brought it up. He's doing the review partially for me. But, yeah, he brings up the comparison between Yoruichi and Bambi again. I have no idea what this Bambi is, but she's sounding kind of like a psycho bitch. Yeah, you're really not far off there, lady. Yeah, well, anyway, I guess the point you're trying to make is how the beautiful do things. Oh, well, you and Bambi certainly are beautiful, but a woman's value isn't in her superficial qualities. I don't know, a little side note here, and I know this is all opinionated, and maybe some of you guys out there really like Bambietta, but when you're comparing, just by looks, if you're comparing Yoruichi to Bambietta, in my opinion, Yoruichi's gonna blow her out of the water every single time, because, damn, just damn. I mean, maybe you like Bambietta, it's your thing, whatever, but just, damn. But Askin states that the real value in a woman is not in her appearance, but of her style and presentation. And with that being said, he, I guess, kind of just spins the bracelets he has on his arm, and that creates his bow. See, the last time he did it was, he, like, grabbed one of the bracelets, and it, like, extended outwards into his bow, and this time it just kind of forms around him. It's a cool design. I mean, maybe, like, he can open it a different amount of ways. Well, anyway, he summons his High League Bogan, and he summons 2 arrows to fire at Yoruichi. Now, this is interesting because I understand Askin maybe doesn't know this, but firing projectiles at Yoruichi Shihoin, the goddess of the Flash, who can quite literally make bullet time her bitch, not the smartest move there. Style and presentation, huh? Okay. Did you just fucking catch my arrow in midair and throw it back at me? Yep, that's my style, and here's my presentation. Shunko! Raijin Senkei! Boom! Major fucking thunderclap of the gods, and that's where the chapter ends. So, really not much in terms of the fight. You know, Askin doesn't really use his lethal dosage ability at all, his death-dealing power. He kind of just resorts to his High League Bogan, which I'm thinking, like, from what we've seen with Askin up to this point, really, he's gonna go, kind of going backwards a little bit. But anyway, yeah, Yoruichi just chucks the arrow back at him and then releases her Shunko, a new technique that she unlocked. I'm gonna assume that she used that, I mean, she learned this technique or taught it to herself in the intervening time that we haven't seen her at all. Because Yoruichi is a character that just, like, appears once, does some epic shit, and then disappears for, like, the rest of the arc. You know, like, she appeared in her fight against Aizen, and then we don't see her up until... Actually, I don't even think she appeared after the fight against Aizen. I don't think she appeared in the Fullbringer arc. She didn't show up again until she was revealed to be working with Uehara on the Cannonball thing. You know, that's the last time, you know, that's a big gap there. I'm going to assume she learned this somewhere in there. Raijin, by the way, the name after the attack, is the Japanese god of thunder, and... No, it's cool. I know it. I can tell them. No, you don't have to come out. It's cool. I know it. Yes, I know it's not Greek mythology this time, it's Japanese. Oh, just shut up, okay, buddy? Just, god damn it. Anyway, yeah, Raijin, okay? He is a creation of Izanagi and Izanami, the original creators of the island of Japan, and it was said that the drums on his back, you know, he has that design with the drums, he uses that to create all the thunder, you know, and he's a really scary kind of demon-looking dude, but he's pretty cool. His design's been used multiple times throughout anime. Probably the one that's most prominent that I can think of is Eneru from One Piece, who has the Tomei drums on his back, and that's how he, you know, summons a lot of his electrical powers, and that's Raijin, basically, and that explains the design that appears behind Yoruichi. Now, the attack itself, pretty fucking devastating. Askin's not dead, though, simply because that would be way too easy for Askin, and also, we've seen that it's kind of hard for him to get even injured, because when Nimaya sliced his neck, like, twice, he cut him twice, all Askin had to do was, like, get back up, and he could still talk, and he just kind of just, like, lapped up his blood, and that's how he used his ability. So, maybe part of the death-dealing power means that he just can't die, and he even said this, he's just like, using this power, it always feels like I'm knocking on heaven's door, so maybe it'll be like some turn that's like, when I have this power, when Yhwach gave it to me, it's like I'm always on the brink of death, I'm always about to die, so you can't really kill me, is maybe what it's getting across here. It's going to be something like that. And also, that wound that he had was like healed up immediately. This was before Yhwach used Ashwallen. This was before that. It was, you know, Nimaya cut him, he drank a bunch of blood, he got up, and then Nimaya was affected by his death-dealing power, and the wound apparently just closed up on its own. So, it's something with Askin's power that he just can't be injured or killed under normal circumstances. So, he's probably going to come out of this all charred, but then it's probably just going to heal, or he's going to do something to Yoruichi after this. It's probably going to be, it'd be cool if it would just be a straight-up fight between Yoruichi and Askin. I know we've been wanting to see what Ichigo can do, but we'll get an epic final battle with Ichigo, because that's pretty much set up for the final battle of the series. We're going to get a shit ton of Ichigo for that, okay? I can wait until that, don't worry, I can. Maybe you can't, but I'm cool with it. But, yeah, you know, it's kind of weird that we kind of just deviated away from Gerard's fight, because that was something that we were apparently going to get a setup for. What's up with Byakuya and everybody else? I hope Kubo doesn't do a thing where it's like he switches back and forth between the fights. I hope he just pick a fight and focus on it. It was a good formula, just stick to the damn formula. They were long-ass fights, but it was a decent formula. I was cool with it. Well, anyway, what else? Oh, yeah, the whole thing with Gerard being the Soul King's heart. I don't even know what the fuck that means. Like, the hand, like, okay, I can understand the hand. Like, hands can pick up things and do things, and the right and left hand of the Soul King are kind of like the instruments of that, where, you know, the Soul King himself is, like, bound into this one place. So, in order to do things, he has to have his hands do things. Alright, I get that. I don't know what the fuck the heart does. I mean, is Gerald, like, responsible for pumping, you know, blood throughout the Soul King? Is he a big well, I guess he is all muscle. I guess that kind of makes sense. But yeah, I don't know what it actually means. I'm in the dark about that. I don't know if it's some like symbolic thing, you know, like if you kill Gerald, then the Soul King will die, but Yhwach is the Soul King now, so I don't even know what that means. And anybody's guess on how they're Quincy. I mean, I already mentioned that the Soul King and the Quincy's might have, like, some sort of connection, like the Quincy or, like, some form of evolution to the Shinigami, which is why Pernida was all about evolution and everything. I had that theory going around, but other than that, I don't know. But yeah, thanks for watching. Pretty epic ending. Glad to see Yoruichi back in action, doing some shit. Thanks you guys for watching. Signing out.